May 2nd board ed meeting to order. If we will please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to address the board. For a second time, the public that would like to address the board. For third and final time, is there anyone from the public that would like to address the board? Seeing none, the public portion is concluded. I will move to administration status of schools. And the first thing on is the presentation by the Girl Scout troop, troop 60298, and the leader, Carrie Valentine. Come up.
Yeah, there's only one other statement.
You could leave all the spots that are being taxed. I think there's one more now at the very end. Thank you, ladies. Thank you guys for coming.
Good evening, Chairwoman Waterfield, Assistant Superintendent Judy Dresnick, distinguished members of the board. Everybody knows who I am. I'm Carrie Malangone. For those of you who don't, I'm Carrie Malangone. I am the Girl Scout troop leader of 60298. We are one troop of about 7 in West Haven, and we are super duper active. So tonight, this is the last presentation that we're doing in regards to our silver award. Now we can let the cat out of the bag what these girls are going to be up to around the city. I'm going to have the girls come up one by one. There's 4 of them that'll be speaking tonight. They're also earning their public speaking badge tonight, amongst everything else. So as they're speaking, I'm going to stop them during the PowerPoint presentation because we're not that fancy to do it up on the screen. We haven't gotten that far yet. So anyway, we're going to get started with the girls. Who's first?
I'm really excited that you girls are going to do some public speaking because it's a really important skill to have. And the earlier you learn it, the more comfortable you get. So we're excited. Carrie didn't throw her class.
This is the Free Little Libraries Girl Scout Silver Award Project, Girl Scout Troop 60298. Free Little Libraries. Silver Award Project. Statistical data on reading performance, the importance of reading, free will libraries, partnerships and support, location. Silver Award Project. The Girl Scout Silver Award is a take action project that addresses an issue at its root cause and makes a long-term impact in the community. You can pursue your Girl Scout Silver Award if you're in 6th, 7th, or 8th grade or equivalent. You're registered a Girl Scout cadet.
So just a little background on Girl Scouts. There's several layers to Girl Scouts. So your first layer is a daisy, which you enter Girl Scouts as a kindergartner or a first grader. Your second level is brownies, which is second and third grade. Your juniors, which is your green, those are fourth and fifth graders. And then your cadets, which is, I don't know, beige tan, is your sixth, seventh, and eighth. And then when you hit high school, you become a senior and an ambassador. So currently, right now, we have 2 cadets that are halfway through the first year. And the 2 juniors in front of you are getting ready to bridge this summer over into cadets. This project that we're doing is it's supposed to be a 3-year project. We've already gotten 6 months into it before we came here to talk to you about it. So we have another 2.5 years to go, which they will take over the project along with these girls.
Statistical data of reading performance. 4% of Americans have below level 1 literacy. Level 1 below literacy can't read well enough to perform activities of daily living in modern society. 14% of Americans have level 1 literacy. Level 1 literacy can read and write at the below basic level. 34% have level 2 literacy. Level 2 literacy can to read and write at basic level. 36% have level 3 literacy. Level 3 literacy can read and write at an intermediate level. 12% level have 4/5 literacy. Level 4/5 literacy can read and write at a proficient level. Statistical data count. Countries with the best education system start with the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, Canada, France, Switzerland, Japan, Australia, Sweden, and the Netherlands. The countries with the lowest ranked educational system are Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Mali, Central African Republic, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Guinea, Pakistan, Gambia, Angola. Statistic data summary. United States having the best education system. United States students still score lower in math and science from many other countries. United States ranked 38th in math scores. United States ranked 24th in science. United States not in the top 10 for average scores. Globally in math, science, and reading. Reading scores on the decline and the
So with all of our research that we have done, not only nationally, but also around the world, our ranking is still not that high. We're seeing reading on decline. So when we started to talk about our silver award, our project to earn this award, we thought, how can we help West Haven in some avenue? And the thought was reading. We need to increase our reading. Granted, West Haven, we're just a speck on the map, but as Girl Scouts, we chase the world. We're here to change the world. These girls came up with the idea of the free little libraries.
Importance of reading. Imagination, focus, and concentration. Improves memory, helps with communication. Entertainment, bonding between the reader and child. Language development, free education, fluency makes you smarter.
With that being said, because of the way technology has rotated, we know that a lot of kids, they're on the phones, they Google, they don't know what a dictionary is. Lord knows they don't know what a phone book is. And if you even ask them about a thesaurus or an encyclopedia, they have no clue. Everything's all digital nowadays, which takes away from our increase in literacy and our communication and our imagination. Even though this is the old school of reading books puts the imagination in. It expands your mind. It makes you think outside of the box. It answers everything for you. That takes the thinking and the creativity. Give me a second, I'm going to try to put this back in here.
This next page is an example of the free little libraries. Partnerships and support. Mr. Michael Martin, woodshop teacher, West Haven High School. Parents, City of West Haven, various departments, librarians, West Haven Rotary, Superintendent of West Haven Schools, Neil Cavallero, Board of Education pending.
Hold on. So we partnered with Mr. Michael Martin here at the wood shop, who has generously donated his time last Monday and taught these girls in the wood shop how to use multiple tools, hand tools and power tools, and they started to build one of the houses. Because of time limitations, Mr. Martin put one together so you guys can see what we're doing.
Location, location, location. Forest Elementary School Playground, Page Hills Elementary School Playground, Washington School Playground, Savin Rock Elementary School Playground, Seth Haley Elementary School, McCrill Elementary School, Where Angels Play Playground, Painter Park, Wooden Playground, City Green, and Allentown Green Potential.
So knowing that this is a 3-year project, the locations that Lillian just read off, these are focal points. The only way we could get people to start reading again is starting from the tiny ones. Where are the tiny ones? They're at the playgrounds. Where are the playgrounds? At all of our elementary schools. Down at the beach, we have people that walk around the green. We have different things going on in town, all around our town. These are just the key locations. And through our presentation at the Rotary, which we have full support of, and also the Knights of Columbus, which we have full support of, we have now gotten people privately contacting us to support this project and want them installed in their areas. So the start of 12 little libraries around town has probably grown to 18 now. And Mr. Michael Martin is in full support of this. Now, I know you're wondering how we're going to support all of this. Mr. Martin is obviously doing this with the woodworking class, and he has asked for a donation. The girls cannot afford to build these. These are normally about $500 a piece if we were to buy it directly from the Free Little Library. With working with Mr. Martin, we have come up with a dollar amount, and anyone who would like to sponsor a Free Little Library, the woodshop class and or Mr. Martin will actually take their logo, say for example, West Haven Rotary, their logo is the wheel. He will actually cut out and make the logo out of wood. We paint it to the color of whatever the logo is supposed to be, and they will install it on the side. And that will show that the West Haven Rotary has now sponsored not only the Girl Scouts, but also a free little library, which will we will also get a tag directly from the free little library. And we will attach it, we'll give them the location so that will also be found. So if you were to go onto the organization website, you type in 06516, you'll see all these little free libraries popping up in all the different locations. The sponsorship form will be developed over the next 30 days. I'm waiting for the final dollar amount. My guess from the last time I talked to Mr. Martin was going to be anywhere between $150, $200. That payment we are not taking. We are giving it directly back to the wood shop because we are in full support of the wood shop in high school. Does anyone have any questions?
Excellent, absolutely excellent.
Oh, we have a question. I have already been collecting books. I probably got about a 12 by 12 space of books already donated to us. We've been doing this quietly, so these books have been donated to us either through friends, people that I know around town, but I also have somebody that I know of at Scholastic, so 2 times a year at Scholastic, whatever books are left over in their warehouse, they will throw out. All they will do is call me, ask me if I want them, and they'll drop them off to me. And then we will place them in it. We're going to upkeep it for as long as we possibly can by refilling the free little libraries. I mean, once these girls get older, they graduate, they get married, hopefully they stay in town. If they don't, but again, we're hoping to pass the torch on as girls bridge over to cadets and pass the torch on to the next round so they can, you know, keep up with the little libraries. But, you know, I'm also in touch with a lot of librarians. We do have the head librarian, Colleen Bailey, who's also a Rotarian at the library on Campbell Ave. So we have access to that too. So we have a lot of avenues to get this up and running and going. I think 3 will be ready to be installed this summer.
And people can come and put books in if they want to, right? So
Absolutely.
Take a book and read it and bring it back and put it back in the box, or bring 4 of your own books and trade it back and forth. Right?
Absolutely, yeah, that's the design of the free little library. You take one, you put one. If you don't have one to put, it's okay. Take the book. And it's not only going to be aimed at the small children, it's going to be multiple all age levels, including adults, but tasteful books. And we will be monitoring that.
My kids have enjoyed free little libraries over the years. We have one in our neighborhood just around the corner from Cable's school. One of our neighbors put one in, so it's a great project. You touched a little bit on the maintenance piece of it. That would be my only question or concern is we've lived in a lot of places and we've seen a lot of dilapidated little libraries. And so, you know, we don't really need anything more dilapidated in our town that doesn't get maintained over the years. So I know this is a 3-year project, but if there was a plan for the maintenance.
Absolutely, no, I've already thought about that. So this is my daughter, Coriana. She's in 5th grade. So at least you know I'm staying in West Haven until she graduates high school. Okay, so you know at least I'm here with that. I do know that there is a free little library over at the beach where angels play. And that was put by one of the Boy Scouts. And if I'm not mistaken, I was told that it was becoming dilapidated. So we're not there to replace his free little library. We're there to enhance it, and time permitting, we're gonna try to clean his up. We'll see how bad it is. I mean, if the wood is collapsing and deteriorated, there's not much we could do. We will reach out to that person and see what they want to do with their free little library. What's that? Yeah, he knows. Yeah, I mean, there has been, this has been going on for quite a few months. Him and I have been talking back and forth. So this will have shingles on it. It's going to have shingle. This is not the. So anyway, the shingles will be put on here. This is glass, like a non-breakable glass. And here we go. The paint, we're gonna try whatever paint we can use and then try to put a sealer on it to drag it down. Because you're right, down at the beach, you're gonna get the humidity, you're gonna get the winds. Now we got sea salt. I thought of all of that, so we're gonna try to find the best product possible and get this sealed up. And then over time, I mean, these girls are scattered around West Haven and they all visit the playground areas every now and then, so they'll be able to, check on it. Questions? Judy, you're so easy.
You did an excellent job, girls. You did a really good job speaking. You gave us so much information on whatever we do now on this project. I'm sure everybody here will be happy to help. I'm sure this is possible.
Yep, absolutely. I didn't want to release any sponsorship information until actually we presented to you guys, because you guys are the keepers of our schools. So I don't want to go out first and then come back and say, hey, guess what? No, we want any type of support. We're not asking for money. We want you guys to morally support us, recommend whatever, any changes, any ideas. There'll be people installing these. It'll be done either by Mr. Martin, spoken with Commissioner Tom McCarthy, Public Works will give us a hand. I've spoken with Chris Everone. They're all on board. So I wanted everybody on board before we came and saw you. You guys are our finale to get the support that we need.
Listen, I wish every presentation came with a whole plan mapped out like this. This is great. I think it will be very successful. I'm a huge leader, and I think this is a really great thing for everybody to be able to take part in.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Any questions or concerns? I know just about everybody has my email. If not, somebody knows how to find me. Kevin knows how to find me.
All right.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Judy, did you want to go, or did you want Dana to do first?
Girls.
Okay, so as you know, we've worked really hard this year with the Career Center. Every year we work trying to make sure our students get all the opportunities they can to be college and career ready, and this year is no exception. So with that, we have some real exciting news that Jane is going to share about some of our students and prospectively where they are going to be going as seniors for their next year. So Dana, please.
And right on cue, I heard somebody just got a college plan going forward. All right.
Good evening, everyone. So of course, in the spring, we always have a lot of exciting news to share. And this year, I think we really have more exciting news than ever before. Share really have been above anything I've seen in probably the last 10 years. So the number of IB acceptances, the number of competitive college and small IBs, and the fact that this year we actually have 2 Questbridge matches. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Questbridge program, it's a program that students who come from a low-income background can apply to. And students who are matched with a particular college through Questbridge are awarded a free 4-year scholarship. So completely free, full ride, and these are to top schools. These are Ivy League schools that, in Ivy League, small Ivies, there's 45 total colleges that partner with Questbridge, but it's all top universities. So this year we had 2 students who were Questbridge matches. And to kind of put that in perspective for you, there's approximately 6,000 Questbridge finalists across the country out of 4 million high school seniors, which amounts to about 0.1% of all who will become Questbridge matches. So we had 2 students. Nabia Khan is one of our students who you know from Board of Ed, she's not here this evening, and also Aisha Diallo. So Nabia will be going to Yale, as you know, on a 4-year Questbridge match scholarship, And Aisha Diallo will be going to Duke University on a 4-year Quest-Rich Math Scholarship. So that's really amazing when you consider the small percentage of students throughout the country who are granted this opportunity. And for West Haven to have 2 such students is really pretty unheard of. So that's pretty exciting. Some of the other colleges that we've had acceptances to this year, we have 2 students going to Yale. We have Vassar, UPenn, Smith College, Duke, Cornell, Cooper Union, Clemson, Bodwig, Boston University, Bentley. These are just some of the top schools, but the college admissions really have been unmatched this year, and I think that really says a lot about our students and about our staff. When we were talking today, Polly Benedetti and I were talking about, what we think really makes a difference in college admissions. And, when you're thinking about applying to Yale, applying to Harvard or Duke or any of these schools, of course, all the students who are applying are excellent students. All the students have good test scores. So we said, I wonder what's really starting to set our kids apart when we're getting all these high-level admissions. And what we started talking about is 2 things. One of them being just the number of opportunities that kids have here in West Haven to really do something that's above and beyond. Because to get into these top schools, you really have to do something that's above and beyond what any straight A student is going to do. So we think, really the amount of opportunities that we as a district and you as a board have been able to present to our students has made a huge difference. And we also talked about really trying to write very personalized letters of recommendation. We have a workshop during the year with our staff where we talk about this because, some schools have kind of a form letter and, insert things in, and really trying to personalize letters of recommendation. To show these top schools what kind of students we have for the state. So we have Yale and Florida, definitely Florida. Yale, Florida, so it's right to our students and our staff getting these great colleges and in our design. So how do we have some other side of that? As we all know, college is not only road, and for some students, they take find themselves in college after a new career, or they go right into the workforce or trade school. So it's kind of very active and our friends career center open the first day of the school to make another business school year. What would happen if you heard of it? So that kind of derailed our plans for the career center a little bit. But we really able to get back on track this year and really excited about all the different factors. So one of the things that's happening in the career center is our exciting partnerships. So foundation to help students find so the idea is kind of making sound that students are internship think the way they do it. And current foundation, they are that given monetary assistance. So we have 5 veterinary technician that really safer for example, we have 5 detective investigator with processing SRM, production product manager, a law assistant at the legal board team, project construction manager at construction, marketing manager at Impact, and the XEO marketing at Impact. So we're going to have done all have great experience following what thinking that you know what you want to do. Sometimes really being in that trade, you might say, this is definitely it. This is my passion, or you know what, I'm thinking wrong, this is not working. So I think it's exciting.
I'd love to see the fall live. Almost like a special. Or they just maybe stop and train. Okay. It's very hard to. Volunteer opportunity. Live class program and follow various mental professional programs. It's a shadowing experience and we're in different fields like growing up in the medical field. That field, the doctor, soldiers, lives very wide range of kind of in order to be in that it's certainly but it's exactly they will carry all the way we're really excited to do that. We're excited to do what and that is the students who are there are taking classes with childhood, computer servicing, hospitality, mental special education, training, and I think that's what we're heading down. Being very active with guest speakers, we also added educational players that will be launching not this fall, but the following fall, probably implement your class, which will have the second layer of investigation and psychology.
still not as well as 10 to 7, they're like, but Michael Bryan is a couple times in the forum. And what that is just sort of like former students who want the community to return to us and get help with FAFSA, job application, resume, application review, paperwork they need to fill out. He brought those in, and we're happy to see that. Which is a time and place that they know the city. We're hoping we can have a future, we're thinking now that it's a little warmer, we'll get a better draw. We had to- Number of summer programs we're running, we're doing programs for our life. We have the career center has been accessible for the summer, so that will pilot opportunities for the main project is working on this summer. Now we have the component for fall seniors. It's all it's not easy, but we think it's really that they are sure that this year. I don't know how to different small things this year as far as take that opportunity to also right now, this is our first year of the project. That requires students that be the private area, not exactly, not yeah. So we had a possible actions out and some action projects based on that action. Are the class of 2023. So we have our first full year full credit action course. So we are hoping to kind of data information to see action projects besides where we look at you did a great job. I think it's so super important about those micro internships because I feel like in guiding my kids to what do you want to do when you grow up, they're 20 and 23. What do you want to be? What do you want to do? It's easy for a well-defined job. I'm a nurse. Like everyone knows what a nurse is. It's an X-ray. But Riley said, well, I'm really interested in environmental science. And I was like, well, you should probably go talk to one of your science teachers because what jobs do you do in environmental science? And I think, for them to know, like, there's a job out there that's something I'm interested in. There's a lot of jobs that don't have such a well-defined, you're a plumber or a fireman or a teacher. Like, those are easy for kids to figure out. But if they have some passion that's outside of those realms, I think finding spots for them, where they may say, oh yeah, I think I want to sell real estate and then go work for someone. I never want to do that. So I think these are super, super important opportunities opportunities for kids, and I know you and I have talked about this for many years, so I'm so excited to see this finally coming out and the kids getting to experience this. So I'm really proud of it. It's really important. That the organization has for years. A program. Yeah, so we're talking about students doing that. Still along the faculty team, are expensive and we think we need to getting together, right? Down to the because we cannot, then there's something not for you. We talk about the non-clinical. And so I think, you know, in addition to all of that, we still really need population that have to be right for them and what's wrong with them. You know, I always think the thing that we really now is to get to your college, is to teach them the life you have to be it gives you such a sense of confidence when you can step into a role that you're a little bit familiar with. I did an internship with my second to last and last year at nursing school that I actually had to take on additional service myself with another nurse. And the second year of nursing school was such a breeze because I was like, I had 2 patients. I had 10 when I was doing this, like, and going in the room and talking to the people, like that level of confidence that you receive from doing a task and sort of, even if you don't know all about what you're doing, like you sort of know what you're doing instead of walking in cold. I think that's another big plus for that. I'm sorry, but well, I have lines. You can. Oh, you can. Yeah, we were posted away. Okay, I was finished. I don't want to be rude. I don't understand.
I have a 5-year-old that you're aware.
Yeah, I know. But respectfully, and actually was enjoying your presentation. I support that. Right, girls.
And I just apologize for sharing.
They tried. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, in general, when you have an internship program, it functions like our PhD program. They can, we have to have attention, we have to meet those standards for the curriculum courses prior to doing that. So that's why it's really important. Very first time to year, but then we get to April or May. At that point, students kind of learn what they're going to learn as far as classroom things. And I think it's first the trade-offs to move that point to about actually the hardest part for us is for them to get to go those opportunities to have probably about 6 weeks prior to the end of the school year and longer.
For the career center,
There'll be staff from agency summer, and then we're going to do something that we do. Either have to do or together. That work. Definitely there.
And you did say that each student is going to be exposed to 3 micro internships.
So the Exciting Talent Program. Yeah, when we go to the internship for the fall, we'll decide, it's probably a bit overzealous at first to say 3 opportunities, we were going for 1 at first, but I really do think
one opportunity. Also glad that this week,
I had just two comments slash questions. So I love, and I don't know if this is by design, but I love the fact that it almost seems like we're breaking down this stigma that has been created over the last few years of you must go to a four-year college to be successful. And I think that that's important. I don't know if it's by design, but everything you share seems to point in that direction. So huge kudos to that, because as we know, everybody has a gift to give this world, and four-year degree does not make you more valuable human being. So that's awesome. But you mentioned, before you spend $1 million, I love that internship component that you can kind of figure out what you might not be interested in or what you really are interested in. I'm wondering if by design in these different cohorts, like the nursing cohort or the criminal justice cohort, and the career/college center, is there a piece about kind of like this financial literacy of saying, okay, you can be a nurse and go to school for 4 years, but if it's going to cost you, $150,000 for your undergrad, and you're thinking about getting your master's as well, laying it out in front of them, because sometimes when mom and dad are saying it, it's like, or, are they talking about the different pathways to get there? Creating that, I just find that that's missing a lot today in the world with the incredible amount of student debt, the financial literacy piece, the different avenues to it, especially in Connecticut. We've got free community college for many people,
and that's become a very important for us. So those things are reflected into the important. Look at how much money you're using for the money on that the amount of money spending in match. One of the things that are particularly feasible for you or better if you want for you college and then and really try to break down that barrier. Think about the average college cost here. That's $8,000. Other things what we want to do. One of the I said hard conversations, but I'm gonna make that college fair. You know exactly what you want to do. Sure, they have that conversation. Great. We're not really sure. Other things that you find is You got, my kids are going to Sacred Hearts, be an X-ray tech, you could go to Gateway for free. I know they,
No, I thought that all the time.
where were you, Jen, when my girl were making this?
Listen, I tell her, they don't listen to me either.
They-
I just wanted
I
to make
also
sure it
don't
was a part of
understand, I really think that kids, at least my kids, didn't understand the difference. They were like, well, I'll take a loan, which they'll take a loan, they don't understand. $2,000 loan and a $25,000 loan. To them, it's like a loan, like they don't realize like the interest and all that. I'm sure everybody's sitting here could say like, if I knew then what I know now, I would have done a lot of things differently, but I definitely, it's a lot different now.
I would not make the same choice if I had to do that. Because of my life. But I consider myself pretty good at personal finance way because of how we don't get the Bible. The better to understand how it calculates, but I definitely very honest with kids when I talk about options and well, my parents. Because your parents didn't have any attention to help you.
Your parents don't know how much college
Yeah.
costs. I make good money, and I thought, how do we do this? Accounts, like, how do you- my kids to go to college? No, your parents don't know.
Dear friend of mine, my kids were. So I'm so glad that they chose my student to work with, our student by, anytime I get a report from the foundation, they say that they're doing fantastic, and it's really special for me personally to have that.
It's incredibly great to think of others. Thanks, my dear.
That presentation was amazing. I'm glad that, yeah, that's amazing.
Next is board reports. Oh, sorry, student reps, I see a great thing for you. And speaking of, congratulations on Florida. You're welcome. Board, Gail and Board.
Staying home.
Hands. Two Gales and Florida. I feel like a proud parent.
Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to echo what Mrs. Paige was saying in the beginning of her speech, because it really is because of all the resources that we have here that we're able to be so successful in the college process, I think. Like, for example, I got to take a Yale class in my junior year, and I got to a good grade in it, and then I got my professor to write me a letter of recommendation for my college application. So I know that was a huge deal. But I couldn't have done it without the resources here. So I just really want to thank you guys.
You're gonna choke me. What are you gonna be studying?
Well, I'm going to be pursuing the major history of science, medicine, and public health because I'm really interested in public health.
We need you.
Thank you. Okay, so let's move on to what I actually got written down to say. So Hannah just handed out flyers for decision day. That's going to be May 19. I think it's just something the council has put on to just celebrate the seniors after the 4 years of hard work, and everybody represents the college they're going to. And wearing the shirts or the sweatshirts. So we invite you all to come out and just experience the excitement with us. The SAD group, Students Against Destructive Decisions, had their mock car crash on April 20th, and the mock car crash was featured on the news, and Hannah was involved. She was one of the actors there, and I think it really got the message across to the juniors and seniors. So junior prom was held on April 22nd, and senior prom tickets are on sale this week, and senior prom will be May 26th at the Woodwinds in Brentford. The top 20 lunch will be held on May 13th at 9 a.m. at West River Hall. The senior award ceremony will be held on May 18th at 5 p.m. in the auditorium. The WHHS chorus will be having their concert on May 19th. The National Honor Society induction will be on May 24th on the football field. And Teacher Appreciation Week begins today. That's all of the announcements we have for you guys. Do you have any questions for us?
Wednesday, is it 9:13 or is it Wednesday?
For decision day?
No, the top 20.
Here I see the May 13th. I'm not sure what they do.
Yeah.
So I think it will be the Friday.
Alright, I'm hoping that's right. Is it Friday? It's Friday. Friday the 14th. I don't know. I'm at this.
Yeah, we're studying, you know. We need you as well.
Come down.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Invitations to every event. We don't have to worry too much about it. You should have already gotten your top 20 invitations. Yes. And an individual invitation to everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
More board reports. Before we started, I just wanted to say, happy Teacher Appreciation Week to all of our staff, paras, lunch, library, nursing. Next week. I think we have wonderful, dedicated professionals in our district. They have taught, inspired, comforted, coached, praised, corrected, disciplined, and loved our kids, far surpassing any job requirement. And your paycheck can never reflect the true value of your work. So I just wanted to say a huge thank you, and I hope you enjoy the pizza that's going to be coming around. And I can't say enough good things about the staff that we have in all of our public schools. Thank you very much. And I think started here at last time, right? I'll start that.
Too much of a board report, but actually two questions for the chair. Obviously, some things that get registered about expanding healthcare centers. There's also discussion selling part of the I'm just trying to make sure that will certainly come back.
I'm sure. Agree, yeah. Before anything does, before anything happens.
So the board is well versed.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Bob. I just wanted to know.
I will third what Mike C. probably said about teachers, parents, parent staff, such welcome staff, teachers, amazing, and congratulations to the Daily Drama Club. High school musical junior was absolutely great.
I'm so sorry that I missed that. I was going Saturday night and I went over to Bailey and I was like, oh, maybe it was only one night. And then I realized at 7:30 it was over here, so I really apologize for the session. So it was so my bad.
Absolutely. Just to echo on what Bob was asking about the public health centers, definitely would like a little bit more information about those. Not, I mean, I love how Bob always brings up the practical, like he brought up the rocks or barriers being put in front of the cafeteria building that's gonna happen at Bailey. He's brought up the barriers that should be in front of the tennis courts here. So he's always looking at the practical application and space and safety concerns. And so I really, really appreciate that. And I hope that we can, I mean, the answers to some of those things have been like they're coming and no, and I just hope we can get maybe some more dialogue going around those things. Because Bob has brought them up. So the same thing with the public health center. Yes, we need more conversation about that. And I also, in the conversations about that in the future, really wanting to know the purpose of it. I know it's kind of a state-driven agenda for the public health centers being in schools. I just want to make sure that parents are still a part of that. Sometimes there's legislation that's passed at the state level that make legislation based on the majority of students who need services. And we don't think about the bigger picture of how sometimes families are impacted negatively by legislating for the minority. So I just want to make sure that parents still have a voice when we do put these public health centers in place, because in Connecticut, ages 13 and up can get medical care without parental consent, and that is a very big concern for me as a parent. So I just want to make sure that we are cognizant of when we put these centers in place, that we are not excluding parents from the conversations, because, like I said, in Connecticut, children can get medical care at age 13 without parental consent. I'm not really sure that's part of this, so that's clear. And then with the building area for the new cafeteria at Bailey, if we could just have some more dialogue about the safety aspect of building out that building. And I just would hate to see $2 million and it get wrecked by a car. Oh, and thank you for providing this. I was looking forward to it. You're not presenting this. That's just very much. Thank you.
Minutes. D1A, motion to approve the minutes for the Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. I'll entertain a motion to do D2 22-11 through 22-14. All inclusive. Second. Discussion. I just wanted to thank all of those retiring teachers for all their years of service. You may remember, especially Liz Dorsey, who came before us. So we were at Bailey, did the presentation there about one of the programs that she was working on. I believe it was a summer program. She did a great job. We will sorely miss all of the teachers who are leaving us. And I want to thank you for their service. All in favor? Any opposed?
Sorry, you asked for discussion. I just was trying to get clarification on which numbers you were going.
22-11 through 22-14.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. D3, 22-15. Entertain a motion. Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. D4, under new business, we have a recommendation, a request from a parent to allow early registration into kindergarten. Talk about this. First of all,
Okay, thank you. First of all, it's been a while since I've seen you guys, so it's good to be back. Some of the new folks that I haven't met you yet, it's nice to meet you, and I look forward to working with you. The law in this area is pretty straightforward. A child has to be 5 years old in order to be eligible for a school accommodation. It doesn't say that you have to be by, but you have a board policy that's very clear. You have to be 5 by January 1st of the school year in order to be eligible. So you've got a very clear policy on it. There are, over my years of my career, I've seen a lot of fairly compelling reasons that people have asked, and some not so compelling reasons. Sometimes, frankly, it's an extraordinary child. And of course, all of us think our children are extraordinary. But I've also seen situations where it's frankly been about childcare. And it's very hard to decide whose situation is compelling and whose isn't. And so based upon that, I typically advise folks, you really ought to live by your policy. And when you make an exception, it's a slippery slope. And who's to say, one day they missed it, or a year or 6 months. So, or somebody, may have family reasons. So it's, my advice is to stick with your policy, and have it answer any question you have. And that's basically the long and short of it. And of course, if there are extraordinary circumstances, defer to your administration, your teachers, they would understand the kid if there was a particularly compelling reason to do that.
I have a question. You said that it would be a slippery slope if we went against the policy. Can you just expand upon that? Like what do you see would be control?
Sure. There's a couple things. First of all, from a legal standpoint, we deal with a concept known as equal protection. Okay. So I grant your child an exception. Why shouldn't I grant your child an exception? Okay. That's the legal distinction. But the practical distinction is, how do you say no to the next case? And where is the line? Somebody may miss the mark, as I said, by a month. What about somebody who misses it by a day or 2 months? And it becomes very difficult to draw the line. Somebody may have a dire family situation and no childcare. And that's a very compelling situation. How do you draw the line there? And you may have a really, really smart child, very precocious. They may be the next prodigy. But again, where's the line with that? How do you say one kid is just very smart and precocious for their age, and they'll catch up to the other kids? And of course, the school-based personnel have concerns about social and emotional development for children who quite aren't ready, even though they are. So it's really, that's the slippery slope that I refer to.
So we could, in fact, actually create a different policy if we thought that was okay.
You could.
Could we implement testing? I mean, kindergarten entrance has testing, so if the testing ruled the child out, would that negate the slippery slope?
I would say that would just be one factor. Again, you have to think about social and emotional development as well. My wife jokes, I skipped kindergarten because I moved from a different state many, many years ago, and I don't know how to play the way I should. So, it's all those kinds of factors you have to look at.
So the reason I asked all of these questions is because I, like you, almost skipped kindergarten, but I was actually moved ahead. And the way that happened when I was a child was I was in a Head Start program, so like a kindergarten or a pre-K program. And I was doing all of the things that my sister was doing, was 2 years ahead of me. The teachers, just like, we have in the letter from this family, explained to my mom that I was doing things ahead of what the other preschoolers were doing. They recommended that I be put into kindergarten. And I'm not saying necessarily this case, I don't know anything about this child other than the other the letter and, you know, I wouldn't be in charge of testing or anything like that, but I bring this up as a community issue, right? So, until I already, I err on the side of parents. So anyway, all of that to be said, the public school system said no, because they had a deadline in my birthday to meet that deadline. But there was a private school in town who said yes, and they gave me a scholarship that my parents couldn't afford to send me to the school. I stayed in that school for a year and a half, moved ahead because I tested where I needed to be to move ahead. And then in second grade, I went into the public school system. So the only barrier was that kindergarten birthday. And so I just bring that up to say, you know, just like in your case, if you skipped kindergarten, you know, sometimes you don't look at the things as the child advances. And if she was to go to a different school and then come back into West Haven, we probably wouldn't blink an eye at her birthday because the only time we look at birthdays is kindergarten. So it might be something for us to think about as a board, you know, with, you know, people like yourself who are, this is your specialty, this is your area of expertise, to have these discussions about our policy. And when was the last time we had a parent ask me?
It was just a couple of years.
Yeah.
But if we
It's
are
not very.
in promotion of public education and we're sometimes begging parents to register their kids, and we have someone who's, you know, I don't know, could she pass the testing? Could she be screened? I don't know, but I'm just saying it is something I think is worthy of discussion of our policies.
You have to think about the other aspects. It's who are you? Right. My son, personally, started early. Socially, but so there's two arguments. And you're gonna open up a whole big debate between that is and that is.
But you don't even have to send your child to school until age 7, according to the law.
That's correct.
I also think the long-term view is also something that should be looked at as a November baby mom. I could possibly see sending my child off to college at barely 17-year-old. So we waited a year to enroll her, and she's been, you know, highly successful. And I think based on the maturity that she gained throughout the 6 months, I do think that every child is individual, but unfortunately, I don't know if we're in a position to individually evaluate every single kindergartner. And I am not the expert on the matter, but I know Julie is an expert on the matter, so.
Yes,
Turn
when
it
you
over to
look at a
Julie.
child, it's not just what they can do academically, it's the whole child. And I can tell you, I've been in education 45 years. I was a preschool teacher, kindergarten teacher, preschool supervisor. There's some assessments you can't assess whether a child is ready to sit for 6 hours a day and do. I don't know if you remember what kindergarten was like for you, but kindergarten is way different today. There's a lot of academics. And is this a child that's going to be able to sit for a 30-minute lesson and be able to focus, or is this a child that might easily get distracted, even if they have the cognitive ability to do those things? So it's really an individualized thing. And many times, I can tell you, I ran to her. She turned 5 January 16th, and I'm going to say she's a smart kid. She can do a lot of stuff that kindergarten kids can do now. She's not ready. There's a lot of things that go into being a kindergarten. And the other side of it is when they get up in high school, there's a big difference between an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old. And that's where it really shows up and problems arise. So, you know, I think to look at it now, it would be a hard decision for a parent, for us to evaluate as professionals, something that really have to look at, and you're looking at the whole kid, you're not looking at just what they can do academically.
Melanie, how would you say the pre-loss testing for kindergarten is in terms of getting an accurate reading? Because there could be a child that is having a great day, or a kid that's maybe doesn't want to leave their brother. So
Yes,
sometimes
it's not, it's really just for us to get a basis of that. It's not really the entire idea, because you're right. This is some kids' first entry into a school. You know, they're walking away from a stranger and it costs them a sticker at the end. They don't know what they're around. So, you know, it's very simple for us to get accurate information, but it is capable of doing.
And there really is no social assessment to be able to say that socially this student would be ready. Like Judy said, to sit, I was in kindergarten up until being sworn in here, so I'm not an expert, but I can speak to, there are some kids that still in May have a challenge sitting for a 40-minute block of any type for station or for math lesson or for reading, even with the movement throughout the day, which I know all our parents teachers do a great job giving the kids brain breaks. But I think that there is something to be said that if we make an exception for one student, it's going to snowball, and we're going to have a lot of parents that feel that their student should be evaluated as well. And I don't know what our numbers are for kindergarten right now, where they stand for next school year, but I think we need to make sure that those kids that are turning on before the cutoff date have a place in their home school before we would consider, especially before we would consider, I should say.
I think the point in front of us is twofold. We have an opportunity to follow the policy that we created, as well as an opportunity to maybe revisit how a policy in the future will look. Maybe we change the cutoff date, maybe we have a conversation about these certain circumstances, but I think the point in front of us now is to need to enforce the policy that we currently have, and then maybe there could be a larger discussion going forward with how we move forward with policy changes, and then enforce that policy. I'm not a fan of having a policy that we disregard, and I don't mean willy-nilly, but you know what I mean, like, or an exception, I think.
Without a thoughtful process.
Yes. And this goes for any policy, a dress code policy or an attendance policy or whatever it is. I think that, you know, we should follow the written policies that we have until we decide that we need to update them and make a new policy.
Or have parents to, if we were to make exceptions, I think there should be written exceptions upon our, you know, discussion and guidance from our board attorney.
I don't know off the top of my head, but we represent a number of districts, and I'm pretty sure it's all between December 15th and January 1st, the ones I've seen.
You know, as a mom, you know, that's almost 21 and 22-year-old, you only get 18 short years when they're your kids. Once they, you know, go off to college, then they have their own life, and that's their priority, and as it should be. So, it goes by, those 18 years go by really fast. So I'm always on the side of, you know, letting our kids be kids. So, is this something that we need to vote on or not vote on because it's a policy that we already?
Well, you have a specific request.
Legally, that was what. So motion by Kim, is there a second? So we'll have I'm sorry, I didn't.
I just know I said that and that was the discussion.
So is there any more discussion? Right, so all in favor of denying, putting the policy and denying the request request for accommodation. Proposing aye. Are there any opposed to the motion? Any abstentions to the motion? Sophia, opposed, and Jen abstained, and the rest were in favor of upholding the policy of the director.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming and giving us that opinion. And I'm sure the child is absolutely lovely and will do well no matter what
Right.
goes on in the next couple of years.
Thank you.
The rest of the agenda is informational, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Second, I'm sure there's no discussion. All in favor? Aye. All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.